Alrighty, folks, this is going to be a very different conversation. This is probably going to be a very emotional conversation. We're going to check in with Dustin from Convoy Home Loans. And normally we talk mortgages, normally we talk market. We have fun together. But obviously, there's been a tragic event in Southern California. Pacific Palisades has been literally destroyed. And what you may not know is this is home for Dustin. This is where he grew up. This is where he has family. This is where his friends. This is where his business is. His partner, Jonathan, is getting married this weekend and has been evacuated. This is going to be a very heartfelt and probably very difficult conversation, but hopefully it also is some healing. Dustin, I don't know where you want to go, where you want to start, but the floor is yours, my friend.
No, and I think uh, it's been devastating. Um, I don't think there's words that could put the pain that a lot of people in Los Angeles, specifically, of course, the people that have been affected in Pacific Palisades and Altadena and Silmar and just all of Los Angeles County with the evacuations and a lot of people's entire livelihoods being completely wiped out. It's the worst fire LA's ever seen. It's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life, um, and it's truly devastating to see the amount of people affected. Um, we're based in Los Angeles. Our headquarters is in Los Angeles. Our business is going to take a hit, which is just part of it, and it's not nearly as important as any of the lives that are being affected. Fortunately, the casualties for individuals' lives is right now to a lower number than we had anticipated, which is nice to see. But we'll see as the dust settles. Um, Business wise, LA fundings are of course on pause for who knows how long. Um, that's just natural anytime there's a disaster in any part of the country. But
Sure.
um, this community means a lot to Convoy and me and John, and um, being able to talk about it and just know that you guys are still there, and we're trying our best to put our one foot in front of the other, and move on as best as we could.
Well, folks, I hope you're already feeling the raw emotions here. This is very personal. We'll get into more of this in a minute, but do me a favor right now. Send Convoy, send the whole region of LA. If you know anybody down there, send them love, send respect. See if you can help them. But we've got to appreciate Dustin, coming back and wanting to have this conversation. Please know that I did not push him to have this conversation. He wanted to be here for you. He wanted to have this conversation. But Dustin, I think you're kind of slow playing it. This Pacific Palisades fire hits you personally, right? If I understand the situation, the home that you grew up in, the home that you have memories of, is gone.
Yeah, and it was some hope that it would be one of the few that would be lucky. And I don't know what the numbers are going to be, but from some friends that kind of uh, crossed the lines of where you shouldn't be driving, but got on bikes and walked because so many had to just see if their home was there. Um, are telling me, on the ground, 70 to 75% of our entire community is wiped out, and that's residential houses, but also all of the small businesses, all of the restaurants we grew up on, our elementary school, all of the churches, the high
Oh,
school. Um,
memories gone, everything.
yeah, and it literally. Uh, if people know Rick Caruso, who was running for mayor, he didn't end up being elected the mayor, but he's a very big part of the community. He's a very well off real estate developer, but he went on the news 2 days ago or whatever it was, and it looks like a third world country out here. And for those that don't know, I mean, I was fortunate enough to grow up in the Pacific Palisades. My parents, um, were obviously able to bring me up in a part of LA that was um, a little bit above the means, to say the least, for the average home price and the average income that's made. But and it's painful to see some of the
Take your time. It's okay.
there's a bunch of support, but um, some of the people they're saying like, oh, the people in the Palisades are well off; they'll be fine. Yeah, we're still humans, and it hurts.
Yeah. This is not the time. We're all human beings. It all hurts the same. People have lost their homes, their memories, their everything. It's not the time to make jokes, make shit calls, and be a troll. This is not a time to be a troll, people.
Yeah, and those. I mean, it's very it hurt, but yeah, it's going to take a long time to rebuild. It's going to be a town that had so much history and was a beautiful place to grow up and live in, and well, LA County is a really resilient county. I want to believe that, and I do, and it'll be back, but it won't be the same.
Oh,
Um, it's just not.
it can't. It
Yeah.
can't be the same. There will be a lot of people. If past disasters are any indication, there will be people that use this as an event to leave California.
Yep.
Right? They were in Pacific Palisades and beautiful parts of the country, probably griping about California, but this will be the thing that gets them out. A lot of wealth, it would be my guess, leaves California. Uh, there's, a lot of some actors, James Wood comes to mind, and some others that lost their homes. Again, it was showing it all on Twitter and X. It was insane to watch this happen. Obviously, I believe Malibu was hit really hard as well. Like there's that Nobu restaurant right on the water that's now gone that I've been to 3, 4, 5 times. It was beautiful. It's a special place. I think Grant Cardone had a house on Carbon Beach that looks like it got hit. And again, these people might be above the median, and even some of them might be really rich. That doesn't make the loss. It doesn't make it okay to throw barbs and shots. That's that shows more about your character than their character. And you want to throw those barbs and not appreciate the loss, dude. Lowest form of human being out there, in my opinion.
No, I agree, and I'm not trying to look into that. I was just when I'm on Twitter and scrolling, and I see those really hurt.
Yeah,
But it isn't. Like I said, it's not just the Palisades. It's engulfed me because that's where I grew up, and that's what a lot of the news that I'm
yeah,
ultimately staying in touch with our group texts and what have you. But you know, Altadena near Pasadena and Sylmar, like they had just as many homes lost,
yeah.
just as many families that were, dealing with the unbearing realization in life that they shouldn't have to go through.
Mm.
Um, and I'm just hoping that we can rebuild, and hopefully these winds can die down today, which I think it's a little bit, but I think it's supposed to pick up through Friday again. And what was really comforting was just seeing the ability to have an air attack yesterday, whereas on Tuesday when the fires broke out, that's what made it so bad. Is it was so windy. I mean, gusts up to 80 or 90, but there was no air support. Right, we couldn't fight it. There was even, and it's painful to say this, but even fire hydrants had no water in the
Yeah,
Palisades.
I saw that. It's like, people were asking, "Where's the water?" It's like it's not here. I, I, I
The
don't,
reservoirs weren't filled, and
I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean,
I'm not a big politics guy, and I'm not. It's going to take me a while to go down the deep dark hole that I know I'll eventually go down. But
yeah, don't
you
do
know,
that for a while, please. It's too
yeah,
raw right now.
it's we weren't prepared. But then I'm telling myself in our group, it's like even if you were prepared to a certain degree, this was a an unstoppable
No, 90
event.
mile an
With
hour winds is,
you can't. There's nothing you can.
yeah,
Yeah, and what really, and this also, I don't know if maybe it hit the news big, but over summertime, this past summer, what really hurt too is a lot of the homes in the Palisades with State Farm had their fire insurance
I
canceled,
I
right?
saw that. I saw that.
Um, what timing, of course, but then they're stuck with the CA Fair plan, and the
Mhm.
CA Fair plan obviously being a government plan, you're going to be capped on the amount of coverage that you'll have, and there's no replacement cost estimated around the fire insurance. You're not getting your full boat, and there's homes in the palace. There's a mobile home park in the Palisades. So let's just put that in. This
Yeah.
isn't just a bunch of 3 to 5 $10 million homes. There's still a lot of people that have been living there since the 80s that may have bought their home for 100, 200K, and their wealth was all tied in their home, right? They didn't
Yeah.
have a mortgage, but all of their wealth was tied in their home. And they're not going to be able to
No,
rebuild to the
not at
same
all.
degree, and it's yeah, it's really heavy. And I really just don't have words about what's transpired. Waking up feels like it's a living nightmare.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a nightmare. Not that my nightmare was the Loma Prieta earthquake, which really hit the Silicon Valley hard. I was much younger, but yeah, it felt like I was walking around in an apocalypse movie for weeks. Right, there was glass and some housing down, and the bridge. I mean, I can only imagine, and that's not even as visually destructive as fire. Right, I mean, I cannot imagine the pictures you're seeing of your old community and it's every time you look, it's got to hit that raw nerve. So I can only imagine how stressed and tired and you know that you are, and dude, it's not going to be over for months and months, years probably. So I feel for you. I'm sorry. Is there anything our community could do to help other than pray and send good wishes and all of that? Does the community need anything?
No, and that's, I'm not going out and asking, but just the pray and the support, and I don't know what there's a CA fund, and I know there's a bunch of funds that people can help donate to helping rebuild, not Palisades, but specifically all of LA County and the resources. And a lot of kids were displaced from their schools, like, and just thinking
Yeah,
the the
schools.
the trickle down effect, like these kids now got to be misplaced into schools, and a lot of people rely on the food from the schools that they're going to get for their kids. And
Yeah.
pretty much all of LAUSD is closed, and a lot of LAUSD schools were it's and then you get to the churches and the faith centers, and
Mm.
um it's just really hard when it hits the community, not just the actual downtown or village part of the community, but also the homes and the residences
The
around it. It's
infrastructure around it that makes it a
yeah, it's
community. It's just gone.
it's yeah.
Anything else you want to highlight that's maybe going on or
I may be coming, and I'm not trying to be rude here, and I don't think it. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not trying to come across rude here, but obviously there's a market in any type of industry, and when I have been looking to help find a place for my parents to stay in the meantime, there are a lot of agencies, and they're like Airbnb offering a lot of free stays for the people that can get on top of it. But it's very, I'm not trying to be negative here, I really don't want to take it that way, but the
Mm.
amount of, because I get alerted on all listings in Los
Yeah,
Angeles County,
makes
right?
sense.
It's just for my industry, both rentals and for sale. And seeing the amount of listings either for sale or rent that increased 10, 20, 50% in the last uh 2 days makes it sick. And I get it, there's a market.
Yeah,
People will pay
supply
the
demand, but
extra.
it doesn't make it right. Yeah.
Yeah, and it is what it is. But I'm just hoping that the people that have to get displaced can find a place, because all the hotels are completely booked out.
Oh yeah.
And it's not going to be easy this next couple of days and week to find a
Yeah.
new place to stay just for a month till they figure out what they're going to do.
Yeah, price gouging not cool in this situation. Um
No.
yeah. I- Again, I don't know LA County at all, and even less kind of population. When you look at the cities impacted, because LA County is like 3 million people, right? It's a massive
Yeah.
county.
Hmm.
Are we talking roughly 10%, kind of 5% directly impacted, and then maybe another 10% kind of? I mean, how big was this in comparison? Wild guess.
Wild get. Yeah, I mean, LA County is so big. I mean, the amount of people evacuated, I'm going to guess 40, 50%, because it, you know,
Okay.
you're being safe about evacuating. But
Yeah.
the two biggest spots that got hit were, for those in it, Altadena is like right next to Pasadena. I think a lot of
Okay.
people heard of Pasadena, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Um, and then Pacific Palisades, which aren't the biggest cities, but the neighboring cities all around them. You know, you
Yeah.
can go to Brentwood and Santa Monica and Malibu. Like Malibu was hit really hard, and
Yeah.
Pasadena's right next to downtown, and there's the third, I shouldn't say it's biggest or smallest, but the third of most concern, which has some contain, is out in Silmar.
Mm.
There's been a couple spot fires, but those happened yesterday where we had air support, like in Hollywood Hills. That would have went down if we didn't have any of the air support or the wind. So that's really comforting to see that it seems that we have, you know, a lot of help from the National Guard in San Diego and North County to be here, so that there shouldn't be any new fires, hopefully, that we can't get
Mm.
containment on right away. But yeah, the damage has obviously been done to Pacific Palisades and Altadena.
Well, Dustin, I appreciate you having this conversation. Hopefully, you leave this feeling a little bit better than you felt coming in. Getting it off your chest is something certainly that's helped me in years past. If somebody wanted to reach out, give support, what do we do?
No, thank you, Mike. You can go to convoyhomeloans.com. We are still fully operating, but just take it with a grain of salt. If you are working with me, I'm going to be a little bit slower than usual.
My community is a good community. We will understand.
Thank you, Mike.
Yep. Well, convoyhomeloans.com, click ORAT. Folks, send prayers, send good thoughts. This was a very difficult conversation, but hopefully slightly healing conversation for Dustin. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mike.